I'm Diann Shaddox, if you don't know who I am. And with me, who is co-host, is Cher Burnham Matson.
And my cat.
And Cher and I both have ET. We're not medical doctors, so we can't really give medical advice, but we're here to listen to everybody and talk, hear your stories. And we do have the Diann Shaddox Foundation for Essential Tremor is working really hard. And there is a lot of new things that are happening. And I think this year may be our year for Essential Tremor. We have so much going on. The first thing is, today is March 16th. And that is, we have made that March 16th is Essential Tremor Day of Awareness and Giving. But mainly, it's a day we want to get out there for Essential Tremor, because awareness is the only thing that is going to make anything happen for us. We can all talk privately, but until we get out there and tell the world how big we are, and Cher and I know we work with, and Randy. Randy's just going to listen. He doesn't, this is our thing that we're doing. And Randy Miles is the executive director of the Diann Shaddox Foundation for Essential Tremor.
Hi, guys.
Cher and I are, I guess you would call, the big mouths of Essential Tremor Foundation for us. So we are working with many pharmaceuticals and therapeutic organizations out there and partnering, and we have hit it with the pharmaceutical and therapeutics are wanting to do something for us. And the biggest thing is Sage is now going on a new clinical study. That right there, it's been a year. Nobody has the true data for Essential Tremor of how many we are. But the data out there now is estimated at 100 million worldwide.
Yeah, we always thought we always said 10 million. We knew
well, I mean, it was 42 million worldwide. Now it is 100 million.
Yeah.
We don't have the true data, but Sage and all the pharmaceuticals and all the data they're working on now is saying we are at the 100 million. And this has got to get it. Well, it has. That's the point. Having them tell us this is what will make Essential Tremor a medicine that will work.
Well, and they did this investigation, just so you know, as part of presentations to their investors. So, you know, they did their homework when they did this investigation. It wasn't just like they came up with some number. And we were actually kind of shocked. I mean, we kind of knew. Diann and I have talked forever that I don't think we really have any idea how many people are out there with essential tremor, because so many of us go undiagnosed, don't go to doctors, you know, aren't treated for it, really don't know much about it because it's so unknown. And let's face it, how many of you guys felt isolated until you ran into groups like this or went to a doctor and they actually said, hey, you've got essential tremor? You just don't know. I mean, I went from the time I was 17 when I got diagnosed with familial tremor. That tells you how long ago it was. That was quite a few years ago. To it not really kicking in much until I was in my 40s. And then that's when, I started going to doctors and neurologists. I actually had a neurologist do those electric tests on me where they stick little pins in you and give you electrical shocks. Tell me there was nothing wrong. So, this is the problem. There's so many neurologists out there that don't know about essential tremor. We've seen it time and time again on the group page. People talk about going to doctors, going to hospitals, being questioned about whether they're alcoholics, drug addicts because of their tremors. That's why we have the cards, right? That's why we have the identification cards and also the explanation cards. And we just had somebody recently who said it really helped her a lot with a hospital incident. So that, keep spreading the word, get your cards. It's how we make awareness and how we get people educated on who we are and what we have, that it's not just nerves or, alcohol or drugs. It's an actual neurological condition that we cannot control.
Okay, Diana, can you hear me? Is there a way to unmute you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, there you are. Okay, ask. We want questions.
Okay. I've had tremors since 2009 that I remember. I could have had them before, but my doctor has never differentiated them as essential or Parkinson's and has not yet put me on medication. One of the reasons is I am extremely sensitive to medications. I normally have really bad side effects with everything. So I'm not sure what type of doctor I should go see. I'm seeing a internist right now.
What you need to do is you need to go on Google. This is the best thing to do because it'll be more up to date. And look for movement disorder specialists. Okay. People that specialize in Parkinson's, dystonia, essential tremor. Unfortunately, they're very few and far between. There are not enough doctors going into this field because it's like 14 years of study, and that's after your bachelor's degree. So it takes a long time for them to get certified as a movement disorder specialist. But that's who you need to see, because they're going to know what tests to perform on you and what to take you through to determine if you have Parkinson's, if you have essential tremor, if you have dystonia, whatever it is. And then, you can start trying to follow a course of action. And with you being sensitive to medication, I think Diann can speak to this too. There may not be anything that they can give you right now because there isn't anything out there specifically made for essential tremors. It's all for something else.
Yes. Now we do, I will put this out there again on the worldwide Essential Tremor worldwide Facebook group. I will put a link. We have a link to a national data of movement disorder doctors, and you can also go to our website, the Diann Shaddox Foundation.org, but I will put that out there, or you can message us even on the worldwide group. And we will give you that link to maybe help that define your area. Because like Cher said, it's hard to find a movement disorder doctor. You can find plenty of neurologists and regular doctors, but many doctors just don't understand essential tremor. And I think if you can, get the right doctor, that's the answer. And my story, like Cher, I went to doctor after doctor, and nobody knew what essential tremor was. And things have not changed as much about the doctors understanding essential tremor. I hear stories after stories about doctors telling them the same thing they told me. So what is happening, though, is the neurologists and movement disorder doctors are starting to get informed, and we're working on that. But please, you can message me on the worldwide group, or I can put that out there. But you need a new doctor. You need
or an additional.
Yeah. I'm very happy with my doctor in most areas. It's just, I need someone who knows all about it.
Who's a specialist.
Well,
if your doctor's great, you may educate him.
That's right.
Bit. Maybe he can get into a little bit more and learn more. I get that from doctors. I mean, it has not been even taught in medical school of the neurologists for years about essential tremor. We've been pushed to the side, Parkinson's, but things are changing, and that's the good thing. So yes, we will do what we can do to help you.
To show you how you can change a medical doctor's perspective, I have a chiropractor that I see every couple of weeks, and I have been for 15 years. And I had talked to him about my essential tremors years ago. And he was so, I guess you could say, intrigued by the whole thing. He decided to start doing research. There's a group in Las Vegas that works on movement disorders with chiropractic. And he has made it a goal of his to figure out treatments that will try to help me. So by educating him, it's helped me. And it is, some of the things he's doing, I will say my balance has improved, because balance is a biggie with essential tremor. You're talking to somebody who used to be on toe shoes for ballet. I can't walk a straight line now. So yeah. And the reason we don't keep a database of doctors, quite honestly, is it would be almost a full-time job, because they change so much. Some are retiring, some are coming in, so that's why
we do have a database. It's
that we have access to.
That we can send you to that is up to date, so that can work. So, the other thing you guys might be interested, I've got my little note thing, that do you know the last, and it's not even really drug, I'm not bringing it up, treatment of ET was approved in 1967. Does that tell you why you're having trouble? Does that tell you why nothing has been done? It's been, while we're sitting here talking, it's unbelievable. I wasn't diagnosed until the early 80s. Now, that didn't mean I didn't shake, but a doctor diagnosed me. The doctors didn't know anything. If you don't have any medications, we were all left out there. This is changing. We're not going to have it anymore. There is going to be a treatment for essential tremor, and we are going to get, sorry about the hands. That's been my way for 40 years of working with essential tremor.
You'd think she was Italian, but she's not.
I don't know.
I'm not. But
Randy.
this is going to change, and this, I'm telling you, we're going to make a difference, and essential tremor is not going to be the stepchild of Parkinson's.
Right.
Stephen, you said something, and I was wiggling. Can you unmute so you can say?
You're on mute.
Who?
Stephen.
Say it again.
There
Hello
you go.
there.
That's it.
How are you?
Hi, Stephen.
Hi. Well, I was just saying that for 20 years, I thought that I had essential tremors, both in my hands and my neck tremors. And it was only in the past year that I finally, after about 5 or 6 neurologists, finally got a neurologist who took an interest in what was going on. And she noticed in my head that she said, I don't think you have essential tremors in your head. I think you have cervical dystonia. And so she sent me for an MRI, which no other neurologist did. And it showed that I had arthritis in my cervical spine.
Wow.
And in addition, I had a herniated disc.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of changed the focus on how to treat my head tremor. Unfortunately, the next step she was going to do was try Botox injections. And I read up on that, and it has somewhat of a success. I was supposed to go in November, but because of the pandemic, the saline solution they need has been hard to find. So I'm still waiting for that to see if it gives me any benefit. And then if that doesn't help, she was going to send me to the University of Maryland to their movement disorder clinic to kind of, so it's finally moving in a direction where I have a neurologist who's trying to help me beyond taking the medications.
That's great.
And as you said, there are no medications. Basically, I'm on seizure, epilepsy medications.
Correct.
And they do help, especially with the hand tremors. I do find a benefit out of that. And so it's been a 20-year journey of different medications. And of course, as I age, it's gotten worse. In fact, when I first got diagnosed, I didn't take medication for 3 years until I moved from New Jersey to Ohio. And then the neurologist there prescribed propranolol. And I was on that, and it was helpful, fairly helpful for a good 15 years until I moved to Florida. And my doctor that I got there said, I want to take you off of the propranolol because it's having an effect on your heart rate.
Your blood pressure and your heart rate.
Your blood pressure and heart rate.
Yeah.
And so he switched me to the Primadone. And then when I was in the hospital last year, the neurologist I had at the hospital added gabapentin, and that seemed to help. I was on Topamax for about a half a year, but that's a medication that another use is for weight loss and appetite suppressant. So it worked for a while. It was helpful, but then I started to lose my appetite. I was starting to vomit a lot. I couldn't eat, and I lost a lot of weight. And that sent me into a a depression that I was in throughout the entire winter and spring of last year. And it's
Aw.
been kind of a journey coming back to get back to health. And but I do notice, that my tremors, I have very good days and I have more of them now. And it's thanks to this organization and to you, Diann and Cher, for
Aw.
bringing this about, that, I don't feel alone anymore. And I do like today, two of the hardest things for me is going for a haircut and going to the eye doctor. And I have to kind of psych myself up to do both. So I have to go for my haircut when I feel a day that my tremors are more under control. And I've learned not to hide it. That's the big thing. Don't hide it. Let the barber know what's going on. And,
Exactly.
they're very compassionate, and she'll
Yep.
hold my head as she's cutting my hair. And once you get used to that and get it out, then you have a lot more good days than you have bad days. But I also know that there's a lot of people in this group that suffer a lot more than me, and I give them a lot of credit for just staying with it and fighting through it, not letting it stop them. And so I can't thank you enough for this organization and the continuing push to find a cure. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yes, thank you. And Diana wanted to know about, for some reason it didn't pop up, about eye drops. How do you put those in?
I do. I use eye drops to help me with dry eye and everything. And my eye doctor last year prescribed 2 of them. And I literally have to hold my hand and get it as close and just let it go. And if it's anywhere near the eye, I just let it I wait a couple seconds and I say, okay, it finally is going in the eye. And then I wipe it off and do the next drop. And that's how I do it. Yeah.
Get extra.
Yeah,
Yes.
Diana, there are little cups kind of that you
Okay.
can find
That
on
too.
Amazon. They're really inexpensive to help. They're made specifically for people that need help with eye drops.
I
Because
saw those. I was afraid that rather than dropping it right from the dropper, anyway, I was afraid of infection. But I
if
guess
you keep it clean, if you clean it just like you would anything else, you should be fine.
okay.
Clean it good
Yes.
with hot soap and water.
Maybe boil it.
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
Put it in
Yes, they're
hot water.
plastic.
Well, but
you
still.
don't boil, but you heat it up and sterilize it.
I mean,
Well-
think about a baby bottle. Be about like that.
Yeah.
You know,
know.
it's not just the ability to drop it, from the
Uh-huh.
eyedropper, but it's my spatial sense that I don't really know where my eye is.
Gotcha.
And my drops cost $300 a month. So each
Ooh.
drop is
Whoa.
very expensive. And to
gold.
have one drop go down your cheek is money
Not-
down the
I know.
drain.
Yeah. Well, maybe the cups will help.
Yeah, I'll try it. I'll try them.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
just
they're not that
clean it.
expensive. Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said, think of it like a baby bottle. Hot soap and water. That's what you clean baby bottles with, So
And I again use both hands and they both go, and I do everything as much as I can. It's almost like using it as a doctor's tool to hold. And I put, anything I do. So just keep trying. I know I can't hit. I believe I feel like Randy will tell you, I feel like a baby bird when I'm eating. With the mama that has essential tremor and the baby bird that wiggles, because I try, my hand is trying to go to my mouth and my head is moving, and I don't have that balance where, like you're saying, you can't hit something you're going after.
Yeah.
And that's something I want Sage and Jazz and all these pharmaceutical companies to understand. That is another thing that nobody talks about, that I go to put a plate up in a cabinet and I have broke 3 recently. I missed the cabinet thing and hit the bottom. I'm going to put it up there, but it doesn't go up there.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot on stuff. And I'm not sure we have vocaled enough about this, the different, well, I say that, different things that we go through. People are starting to say this now. And
Yeah.
I love our group because we're starting to talk about these little simple things you don't really think about. It's kind of like walking into, I go through a doorway, I'm going straight, but I hit the edge, the frame of the door. I know I'm going straight. It's the same thing like putting a plate away. Oh, another thing, I wonder if you guys, this is something that irritates me. I go to set something down and it clink, clink, clinks. I go to stir something and it clinks. The clinking, the sound of something tremoring makes me worse.
Anxious. Yep.
It really, I will have to video that because I try to stir something and the pot or something, because of the tremors, makes a noise. And when I hear any of those noises, it makes my tremors worse.
You know what I think? Well, and this is the other thing too. If you ever do any research on essential tremor or read it, there are a lot of books out there about it. But one thing they will say is that essential tremor and anxiety are married.
Yes.
The two go together. They really do. Because the essential tremor causes anxiety, and the anxiety causes the essential tremor to get worse. And then the essential tremor makes the anxiety. They're married to each other. It
Right.
just, and it's exactly what Dianne's talking about, the anxiety that is created by essential tremor. And you know yourselves that any stressful situations is going to cause your tremors to go wacko. Certain medications definitely will do that. I know for myself personally, I've had to have some steroid shots for arthritis and a few other things. And number one, I don't sleep for 24 hours. But number two, and I've told Diann this, for a good 2 days after I get a steroid shot, my left hand is my bad one. My right one's starting to get bad. But both of them are like this for 2 days. And I start feeling head tremors and some other things. But, medications will set you off, definitely.
Right.
Certain medications, anything that's like a stimulant, be careful with antihistamines, because especially if it's got sufedrin in it, anything like that, that's kind of an upper. Yeah.
I know. I've
yeah,
got
you do.
allergic reaction right now going on. I don't know what it is. So I'm on a ton of allergy pills right now. Randy and Cher know I'm hyper anyway. It's not, I don't know if it's just essential tremor or what. So I'm very hyper. I have energy right now. I can do all kinds of things. So you do need to be careful of your medications and what
Right.
you do,
Right.
because it can make it worse. Mary,
Joe, yeah,
Mary.
Mary and Joe, you got anything you want to share with us?
Mary, you gotta talk to me.
Not really. I just wondered if anybody else was having any issues with driver's license.
With what?
Driver's license?
Are
Oh,
you
yeah,
still having
you're-
trouble?
You still
Well-
having trouble with that?
No, because we moved back to New York.
I know.
Florida. Yeah. I have my driver's license up here, no problem whatsoever. But Florida gave me a very hard time.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
I know. I've tried to look into that, and it's a whole huge thing to get into. The biggest thing is to get the neurologist, movement disorder doctors to tell you, give you a sign thing about essential tremor.
To say that it's okay for you to drive or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
we-
ended up not being the only one that it happened to when we were living in Florida.
Really?
My husband went to breakfast and there was 3 gentlemen that came in and they got talking. They happened to be from New York too, and not far from where we live. And they were just about ready to sign their paperwork to buy a home together because they're all widowers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so upset because he had tried getting his driver's license switched from New York to Florida. And then they they says, no, you got to go to a doctor's and have this paperwork filled out. The doctors said, no, in his opinion, it wouldn't be good. So they ended up not going through the house, with the house, and they went back to New York State themselves.
Oh, for heaven's
Because
sake.
they had no problem. As strict as New York State is on a lot of stuff, it's amazing.
Mm.
Because I've had my tremor since I was 29 and I'm 69.
Right.
So it's not my first rodeo going to a DMV.
No. No. Well,
Well-
the thing is, it affects everybody differently. And there are some people that we have in the group that, their leg tremors are very, very bad and they don't feel safe
Yeah.
driving because they don't have control of their right leg for the gas or the stop or the brake pedal. But, as far as putting your hands on the wheel of a steering wheel, I mean, I don't notice that my hands shake when they're on the steering wheel.
No, but the feeling that my husband and I got, because we both were in the DMV at the same time getting our, driver's license done. And it was more what they could see. And
Right.
with head tremor, it's like it's like, okay, you're not getting it. That was a kind of the attitude.
Discrimination,
Right.
disability discrimination. I know.
And that's it. And I thought that, isn't
Yes.
there an ADA thing that we could, for the disabled person?
There should be. I mean, we
Well-
should be covered by that.
Yeah, we have looked into it and we have tried to work on it. And then again, it's like I've talked to other people about this, until we are known in Congress and all over the world, which is happening, I keep saying, this kind of thing is not going to change, even though we're so huge. I mean, think about what you went through, and you're 16 years old. And we have 16-year-old people going in, children, I call them, teenagers, that they go in to get their driver's license and they do tremor.
Yeah.
And no, I can drive, I can do fine. No, don't give me a little coffee teacup to hold. That I can't do. But
Yeah.
oh yeah, I can drive.
Yeah,
can still drive just fine. But until people know what essential tremor is, nothing's going to change.
No.
And that's what I'm trying. What you're going through, I hear this. There's a whole list of what you're going through with the
Well,
disability.
shoot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just reading what's on the group,
Yeah.
that tells you enough.
Well, with people in their office, with being hired to do jobs, we can still do jobs. We can still do this stuff like any disability, but nobody knows what essential tremor
We're
is.
not given the same respect
That's
as
it.
visible disabilities are.
That's exactly. And the reason we're sitting here talking is because I got tired of that.
Yeah.
I got tired of telling everybody at my book signings and all that I have essential tremor. What is that? Nobody understood. And yes, signing my name, people thought I was strange. You know, you can't sign. Yeah, I could do everything else. I was physically doing, I shake, but I was physically doing everything but signing my name, going down. It's weird. My hand going down to that paper and signing a book because I knew I didn't want to mess the book up. And trying to do that was so difficult, but such a simple task.
You need to get one of those stamps like I got for my mom.
I would not appreciate that if I was buying a book.
I suppose.
And I will not do that. I'm still, and I don't just do a wiggle like you can do with credit cards.
Right.
I go ahead and I physically sign. It's not the best thing in the world. But I sign every book.
Yeah.
And I've got my 7th book being published right now. And I sign a lot of books.
Yeah.
And I hope you guys have got the copy. Okay, we're doing a sales pitch. Spread the word. Here it is. A Faded Cottage. This book is another reason we're sitting here.
That started the whole
Faded
thing.
Cottage. I wrote that book. I had all my books. I have 16, 20 books ready to publish, children and everything. But I sat down on my birthday and wrote this book. I don't know if you guys know this story. And I was upset. My hands did what all of you know. I mean, they were quivering and over the keyboard. And it was my birthday, and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I was by myself, and I was going to work on my other books. And I decided, okay, no, I've just got to do something. My brain goes constantly. My brain never shuts down. So I sat there, and it said, "Happy birthday, dumbass." And as soon as I did that, my hands started typing. And A Faded Cottage was born that one night. The whole book, I sat there and wrote A Faded Cottage about an artist with essential tremor.
Right.
And that was the way for me to tell the world what I was going through. I have hid from my family. People come at me now from my past and say, you know, you don't have tremors. Well, I did this constantly, and I wiggle. I can wiggle more than anybody you've ever been around. And nobody, I was on Enderall then, not propilenol, Enderall. And that was enough with me wiggling that even I hid it. Everybody thought I was, which I am, hyper, but they thought I was nervous. So that is the story that led me on this journey.
I think that's
And-
part of the reason behind the hands too, Diane. Because it
Yeah,
actually,
I
if you-
wiggle. That's it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can wiggle. Like I said, in the worst case is they thought I was just nervous.
Yeah.
I never picked up a glass
Oh God,
like this.
no.
This is how I drank in front of everybody. Oh no, I didn't do anything. When we had people at the house, I turned my back as much as possible. I didn't want them to see my hands. I didn't eat. When we would go out at meetings, we had a lot of big meetings and conferences. I just didn't eat. I didn't go through, the buffets. That is how I handled, and I know that is how many people out there are doing it now.
Hide.
I wished that I had been more open. I was around very many people, influential people, and I wish I'd been more open. And that's my message.
You know what the
You
best
guys to
statement
help
is?
spread the word about that.
Yeah. I have essential tremor and nobody knows anything about it.
Right.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a natural instinct to hide. A lot of people don't know I have it either because I don't even think about it, but I'll do things now that make it so it's not so obvious, it's a habit that you pick up.
Yeah.
And but when it shows up, I've had somebody say when I had a can of soda and forgot I put it in my left hand, they said, "You don't have to shake my soda." I said, "No, I'm not shaking your soda. I shake."
Right.
It's me,
That's it.
or people will say, "You're nervous." No, I'm not nervous. I have essential tremors. And they'll be like, "What's that?" And I'll tell them, and I come from a long line of shakers. I'm one of those genealogical people. My grandmother had it. My father had it. My mother had it. My mother also had Parkinson's too. My brother has it. I have a son that has it. So I'm sure it goes back even farther in my lineage, but they used to just call it palsy. I don't know if you guys know that, but that was the name for it years ago, was palsy.
Right.
And that was before a lot of medications came around. Because honestly, Diann and I have talked about this sometimes. Sometimes, now I know, like in my husband's case, some of the medications that he has to take cause him to have a tremor. We're a great pair. I've got essential tremor and he's got tremors too. But it's from his medication. And there's not really a lot that can be done about that. Some people have to take certain medications, and they do call something that's called tardive dyskinesia.
Right.
So, that's always something that needs to be checked out too, is what medications are you taking and what counteractions could they possibly have with each other? Because some of those medications, when combined, might actually make your tremors worse.
Oh yeah. Now I'm not on. It's amazing. I'm okay, guys. Am I 66? I don't keep up with how old I am.
Yes.
Yes, you're 66.
I'm not on any medications. Well, I take that back. I just went on in December, January, back to propanol for the first time in many years. The doctor said it might help calm me down and blood pressure. They can't get my blood pressure. I tremor too much that they have not been able, even hospitals got a good reading on blood pressure. So I am on 5 milligrams of propanol. No, it's not doing anything.
Yeah, she
So-
cuts the pills in half.
Oh, and they're little.
5.
Yeah, but she cuts them in half.
I cut them in half. I have
The
least
5 milligrams you cut in half?
The 10
no
milligrams.
10.
Okay.
I cut
Okay.
10, and that makes 5. And the doctor's like, do whatever you want. He won't say anything with me anymore. So, like Cher said, many people are on medications. I can't blame. Nope, I've not been on any medications in my life
No.
except Inderal and propranolol. And
Yeah.
it hasn't, it's thank
And an Advil
God,
once in a
it's
while.
been slow progressing. What'd you say,
And-
Randy?
That you take an Advil once in a while.
Well, yeah, I do. I take it.
That's it, though.
And I'm
I
on
mean,
the allergy thing because I broke out and I'm itching and
But that's not something you take every day.
no.
No.
Every day.
One other, yeah. One other question we got asked about was, and it's been asked a lot of times on the group page, is does essential tremor affect memory?
Yeah.
Now-
Laura, this is for
Yeah.
Laura.
Yeah. And there have been a lot of other people that have asked about
Yes.
that. A couple of things. Sage is right now, right, Diann, doing
Yeah.
research. They're on their, is it their 3rd study or
I
their,
don't know about the
they're
memory.
doing research right
Yeah.
now to try to find out the correlation between people with essential tremor and cognition issues. We don't know what the results of that test are, those tests are. But I will tell you that I have not to date seen anything definitively
Mhm.
say essential tremor affects memory. But I will tell you from personal experience, I signed up about 6 years ago, I guess it is now. It was through Vanderbilt University at the time. There's a gentleman who is a huge specialist and probably one of the best known in the world on essential tremor by the name of Dr. Elon Lewis. And he started a study 6 years ago, and I happened to run into it, asking for people who had essential tremor, had not had any kind of surgery for it, DBS or ultrasound, anything like that. You could be on medication. And so I signed up and was accepted. And I've had 2 in-person and 1 Zoom interviews with them over the last 6 years. It's about every 18 months. And I also signed a document that when I pass, they get my brain so that they can do further studies. Now, Dr. Lewis has moved down to, is it the University of Texas, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
he's in Dallas.
Yeah, but anyway, it's quite a rigorous interview. It's about 2 to 3 hours of cognition tests as part of what they do. It's basically, if you ever go for DBS surgery, the tests that I take every time with them are probably the same type of tests that they give DBS folks before surgery, because if your cognition is not good before DBS, they will not do the surgery. That's one of the disqualifiers. And so far, I mean, 6 years I've aged. I'm now almost 65. The cognition has not really changed. And I can tell you from experience too, with my father and with my mother, had no effect on them whatsoever. So, Dr. Lewis has not come back and said anything about it either, but they're still doing studies to find out if it does. But right now, there's no definitive answer, and it's leaning more towards probably no.
Well-
Natural aging process would do it more.
Okay, Cher, we talked about this earlier. I do have a problem, which I've always had, pronouncing words. Randy and you both know that.
Yeah.
Words do not come out right. And that's another thing Cher brought up. There's some other people who have that problem. I don't know if that is a part of essential tremor, but I've had that. And I want to discuss that with these pharma people, all their scientists, to see
Mhm.
if maybe that is a part of it, because I've had that my entire life. And
We do have other people in the group that have mentioned that they have trouble with words.
right.
And what Diann does sometimes, and I've learned Diann speak, is that she'll actually combine two words together and say it as one. It's
Yes.
so, it's interesting.
Yes, I will say two words, and I use parts of them. It becomes a whole nother word. And I would like that to be a part of this, because it'd be interesting, like I said, to figure out. I don't know if they want my brain, but I will, to figure out
Right.
what's happening. And when you say the biggest problem you've had your entire life is essential tremor, no other physical problems. I
Right.
think that should be something that these people, scientists, investigators, need to look into. So we're going to work with that one.
Because it is a problem. I mean, if somebody, I know there are doctors out there that you're perfectly healthy otherwise, and the only thing you have is essential tremor, they're like, you're healthy. Well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Because I have something that affects my daily living, It affects what I can do every day. It affects how I can interact on a social level. It affects everything, which causes some degradation in my mental health, So I'm not healthy.
My legs tremor, everything on my body tremors, everything.
Thanks, Stephen.
Everything. So I understand, more what people, it grew over the years, but we have, and I know we're a small little group, but we have on our worldwide group, the children. And that is what drew me in to keep fighting, is because if you have a little one, we have a video on the group of a little one trying to eat. And it's like what I do. Randy knows, and Cher does too. I love food. I have so much energy. I eat all the time. And watching that little dude trying to eat, that's what I go through. Like I said, I'm like a baby bird. And as you guys know, this progresses.
Yeah.
What is these children going to be like in 10, 20 years? They're going to be like us, but they're not.
Worse.
Everybody thinks we're just old people. And I'm tired of that one too.
Yeah. Well, Diana asked about internal tremors, and you can speak to that.
Yes. Oh, yes, I have internal tremors. I've had that for the last probably 7-8 years at least. And there are children now with internal tremors, and they do feel weird, and they grow. I'll be trying to sleep, and I can feel my body doing the same thing inside as it does outside. And it's like, when I first started this foundation, I had doctors from the NIH who told me there were no leg tremors. They said, no, that's not it. There, it's something else. Well, my legs at times, they tremor now. If I'm not, with essential tremor, things have to be on a solid ground. You have to have your foot down or whatever. And my tremors were going on my legs. And I told the doctors, and they kept saying, no, there's no leg tremors. Now they've done research. There are leg tremors. They also said no internal tremors. Now they're saying internal tremors.
Mm-hmm. They also used to say no head tremors too, and they've discovered that's not true.
Well, Katharine Hepburn helped us on the head tremors.
Yep.
She really did. And
Yep.
Randy's the problem for me. I
Uh-oh.
didn't know I had head tremors until he told me, your head's going. I was doing fine. People won't tell you this when you're out. No, they're not going to say, why is your head moving? Yes, right, Randy?
Correct. Yes, right.
Yes.
Yeah, you're yes.
Okay. See,
Yeah.
I know my head's tremoring now because it's gotten worse, but I don't think about it. And unless I sit and stare at something, then I see my head's going. I'm like, no, don't move. So anyway.
Well, and you compensate for it, like I was talking about, not consciously, by moving.
Right.
You do.
Oh, yeah. I move all the time.
Yeah.
Something moved. And my son had essential tremor. And that boy, it was just beginning in a hand and all. But he always he'd cross his leg or he had one foot that would just shake constantly. And from when he was little, and I've thought about all that his tremors he had them like I probably did from early on. I have to have something on my body seems to always, I don't notice it until I really think about it. Something is tremoring. And I think that's why internal tremors, it's like your brain has got to have something going.
Yep.
There is a reason for this. I don't know what.
It's called a perpetual motion machine.
It is. That's a good one.
Yeah. One other thing too that we wanted to bring up. First of all, are you guys enjoying having discussions like this?
I wish
if you are, raise your hand.
Okay.
All right.
We gotta
What
bring
about
more,
you, Joe? Are you enjoying this? Okay.
we gotta bring
Because-
more people in.
Yeah, we got to bring
This
more
is
people
not-
in. And
Difficult.
talking about, how good fun this is to share stuff. It would be good on the group. If you want to post something on the group saying, hey, I was part of this ET Talks, and it's a great place to share stories and ideas and whatever. And that's what it's all about. That's why we have locked into Zoom now.
Yes.
To be able
And
to
we
do
can
this.
go as long as we want. We can
Right.
shut it off whenever
Right.
it gets tired.
But
We can have people join.
you're right. As far as research goes, Diann has talked to Sage, and they're in you said the third phase of a clinical
They're
trial.
ready.
Right, getting ready for a third phase of a clinical trial for an ET med. But one of the things that she asked them was, if a situation comes up where they need study participants and it would be beneficial to our group, can we participate? And if something comes up, they will let us know. So that's awesome. If we can get a chance to participate in some kind of clinical study that's going to advance this and find medication or treatments or whatever, that's what we're all for.
Well, there's stage 2 share.
Yeah.
67% positive.
Oh, that's good.
So that's pretty good. And stage 3, we hope, is going to be a lot better than that.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we've got Sage and Jazz, and then there's other devices out there they're trying to work
Yeah,
on.
Biogen.
Yeah, Biogen is working with Sage. So Biogen and Sage, and
But they're all working with us.
yeah, we have got the pharmaceutical companies are taking notice of, like I said in the beginning, they're taking notice of essential tremor. The world is taking notice of essential tremor.
Well, I think really what you need to understand is we're at a tipping point or a turning point. When you've got 100 million people diagnosed with ET in the world, these people are out there trying to figure out that pill. They're going to make millions of dollars selling pills. So we're really at a point where this thing is going to do something, in my opinion, in the next couple of years. Something's going to happen.
Yes.
Because we're being contacted direct
Yeah.
by these pharmaceutical companies that want to be involved with our foundation.
Yes.
We don't seek them out, they're seeking us out.
Well, if you want to know the truth, it's kind of like
No, I lied. So
they say,
Oh, stop.
I'm a big mouth.
He did not.
I'm a big mouth. And guys, anything you can do. Mary, I know you're wanting to do a support group.
Yes.
Local. We're not really overly doing support groups local, but if you want to do a Zoom meeting,
This is our support group, Mary.
Right.
Yeah.
and if you want to do one of these, if you get enough people, Mary has done support groups, and this is what she does real well. And if you want to get together a support group and you want to do a Zoom meeting and figure out if you want to meet and then have it, computers or a computer or something so everybody can join, or whatever you want to do, we would be happy to do this. And it's a release. It's to talk about essential tremor and what you're going through and problems you're having or anything,
Yeah, in a safe, non-judgmental environment.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Where, yes, dear. Diana.
I'm just still, I know I'm being really slow, but I'm not clear on how you know if you have ET or Parkinson's. And I don't know how you find out.
Parkinson's is generally diagnosed through an MRI. There are actual spots that they can find on your brain. And the other thing is Parkinson's causes a decrease of dopamine. It's a chemical your body produces. And if you have a lack or extremely reduced dopamine, more than likely you've got Parkinson's. And that's why the predominant medication for Parkinson's is carbidopa levodopa. It's a synthetic dopamine. Now, essential tremor doesn't have any of those markers at all.
I have to back up a minute. How do you find the level of dopamine? Is it a blood? draw?
Yeah. Blood test. And that's why I said, if you go to a movement disorder specialist,
Mhm.
they will already know all the different tests to do to determine which you have, or if you have both. Like I said, in my mother's case, she
Yeah.
was misdiagnosed for years
Mhm.
as having just Parkinson's, but she finally got to a good movement disorder specialist who determined she was essential tremor dominant with Parkinson's. So you can have both. It's possible. But anyway, essential tremor, right now, the only way that they really can diagnose is if you have it is through a series of physical tests that they put you through. You'll notice the spiral is used a lot when you're talking about essential tremor. And that's one of the tests. They actually have you draw a spiral to see how bad you shake and if there's a cycle to it. You know, that's one of the tests they have you do, touching your nose, touching their finger. They watch how you walk. Because one of the things with Parkinson's that is not included in ET, people that have Parkinson's don't sway their arms when they walk. They stay by their side. You know, when you walk, your arms go opposite of your legs. It
Yeah.
doesn't happen with somebody with Parkinson's.
And your hand can rest.
Yeah, you can, right.
if-
You have
if
it
you-
sitting.
If your hand is resting and not shaking, then you don't usually have Parkinson's.
Well, Parkinson's has movement.
Right.
Yeah.
So if your hand is down and it's moving,
It moves. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a key playing part of
Right.
Parkinson's.
Right. And the sad part about it is there are a lot of people out there that have not been to the right doctors,
Correct.
that have been misdiagnosed with Parkinson's, and they don't have Parkinson's.
And they're giving them Parkinson's medicine,
Correct. Which
is
isn't really going
wrong.
to do a lot. Yeah.
It's just the wrong way to go about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the doctors don't care.
The hand
It's not
thing is one of
important.
the biggest things, and I
Right.
do that myself. I can put my hand down right now. Now my arm is tremoring, and I still tremor a little bit because my tremors are getting really bad. But if I had Parkinson's, I've been told that my hand is
Would
going to
move.
quiver
It
more.
would do what? Quiver?
Quiver. It will tremor. If you put your hand down flat, don't rest your elbow and arm. And if you can do that and it doesn't move, that's just one thing.
Mine moves. It moves.
Great.
Okay, Stephen.
Is that good?
I'm getting your
Is-
thing.
You know, here's the
I
other
just
thing.
put
You have-
another resource in.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks,
Here's the other
Steve.
thing, Diana, you have to understand. Resting. When
Yes.
they test your resting
Yes.
Yeah.
at a doctor's office, they have you sit in a chair
Yes.
with your feet flat on the floor,
Right.
your arms and elbows by your side,
Yes.
and rest your hands on the legs.
Yes.
Because the problem with essential tremor is the minute you engage a muscle
Yes.
is when the tremors start.
That's it.
Now
Yep.
mine are tremoring right now. I'm doing exactly what you said.
With the
Sitting
hand
here.
down.
With your arms relaxed and sitting on your legs.
Right.
It's possible then. It's very possible.
You need to be checked.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously, yes, I do. I
But
do.
you could share, you could have both, but
Right.
yes, you need to get and we will get that information
Great.
because it is a difficult thing with essential tremor. You go in for most normal tests to a doctor's office for something and it's easy to figure out. Essential tremor is a little different. And now there are times, like I said, my tremors have gotten really bad. But that little test really makes a difference. I mean, I can quiver a little bit, but no,
Well,
seen
it's
people-
interesting that both of these diseases come from the same gland in the
Right.
brain,
From the thalamus, they think,
Yeah.
right?
thalamus gland on both sides. And that's where Parkinson's and ET come from. And now the research is that it goes through the cerebrum and down into the spine. And that's what creates these internal tremors and leg tremors,
Neck tremors.
neck tremors.
Yeah.
That's what they're finding out now.
Yep.
But the fact of the matter is that these things come from the same place in the brain,
Yeah.
and it's hard for them to distinguish how to separate those things in a study. How do you study that if it's coming from the same gland?
And that's why DBS surgery was originally developed for Parkinson's.
That's correct.
Yes. And they discovered in the process that it helped people with dystonia. It was helping people with essential tremor, but they treat it a little differently for each condition. That's why they do so much testing before they ever do DBS surgery on anybody.
Right.
But, the thing is that they still are learning about it. It's a very mysterious condition. It really is, because it doesn't have the markers clearly that Parkinson's does.
That's why they're calling us tremors.
Right.
Wanting to just call us tremors.
Well, they're
because all of a sudden-
categorizing it under tremors.
Yes, because
Right.
The
you're getting
NIH no
tremors
longer
everywhere.
recognizes the term essential tremor. They just call it tremors.
Mhm.
And we've had debates about that with them. We lose the debate because they're the people in charge of doing all this, but they call it tremors. They no longer recognize essential tremors. That's how good the NIH is. Now
But
that's
the
going to change.
pharmaceutical companies are stepping in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and part of it, Randy, could be the NIH determines the codes that are used by insurance companies
Yes, they do.
to cover things.
Right.
And maybe it was getting to the point they got pushback from the insurance companies. You got 50 different kinds of tremors,
That's it.
How do we code this? Because I don't know if you guys are aware of it, but I don't think DBS was not covered by insurance until maybe 6-7 years ago.
Right.
There's a lot of things that in the last 5 years were
Right.
never covered by insurance, and now they are. So
Well, for us to
something
change anything with the NIH, we have to go to WHO,
Congress.
the
No.
World Health Organization.
Oh yeah.
We have to go to WHO and ask them and get into this big debate
We
about
are
insurance
in
codes.
who, but yeah.
It's just a tremendous fight. It's unbelievable.
Diana, we're going to get you a new doctor and you've got to get tested and then you will know. I don't know if you're taking any other medicines. Another thing I have to say, they use this, okay? I'm saying it out there. Doctors say it. If you take have a glass of wine and your tremors slow down, then essential tremor is more likely. Wine does not affect tremors in Parkinson's.
Well, I can't drink wine, so I will never know.
Beer,
Okay. Beer too.
No, I can't drink alcohol. It keeps me awake for hours.
Oh
So-
gosh.
Yeah.
okay.
That's not good.
Well, that is just another thing that doctors will tell you to go home, have a glass of alcohol. Now, what's
Yeah.
interesting, okay, bourbon does not really slow my tremors down.
But red wine does.
But wine will slow my tremors down a little bit. Of course,
Yeah.
you get the next
The
day.
blowback.
pain.
Yeah, that's
Right.
the other side of the coin though, Diane.
That's
And
it.
in fact, that's how I discovered my tremors
Yeah,
when I was in college.
right.
Because the only time they would show up was either when I was overtired
Yeah,
or if I had a hangover. Because
yeah,
alcohol helps to a point.
yeah.
But like if you have a glass, maybe two, but that's it.
Yeah.
But if you have too much,
Oh, yeah.
the
you
next
did.
day you get what
Yeah.
they call a blowback effect,
Yes.
which increases your tremors.
That's
But
right. That's
movement
correct.
disorder doctors do that. They do that. They will tell you to have a glass of wine and see if that slows it down a little bit. And
Right.
if it doesn't, then that means more Parkinson's. This sounds so silly. It's like we're in the 1930s or something, talking about how they diagnose essential
Yeah.
tremor. And
Well,
that's
we've got a friend here in town that has to have 5 shots of scotch before he can eat.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
He can't get his
even
hand
if
to his.
he quits, he doesn't drink all the time. But
No, just at dinner
if
Oh,
or
for
before
heaven's
he
sake.
eats.
if he goes out to a restaurant, he knows he's not going to be able to eat. And he's on medication. So it is a tough thing.
And
But
that's a tough thing for
that's
him
another
because
thing.
he
Sorry,
drinks the most.
Diana.
He drinks the most expensive scotch you can buy.
Oh my gosh.
So that's a real bad habit.
But he goes without drinking. It's not like his is a backlash. He
Yeah.
knows though, if he's out, he can't do this.
Well, Brad
Yeah.
Carter drunk. Well, he always drank beer.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted was beer.
Yeah.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
He didn't drink wine. He didn't drink hard liquor. He just drank beer.
I'll be
Yeah.
And
darned.
that would control.
We
That
laughed.
would control his
Brad
tremor.
Carter's an actor. We laughed about that because beer, nah, that doesn't do anything for me. And wine didn't do for him. So we were laughing at that when we did a show.
Yeah. The weird thing is about 4 years ago, I think it was, before my original MDS retired, he said that they were doing clinical trials on a medication that had something to do with alcohol.
They did
Okay.
that.
Yeah. they
Yeah,
were
and it
developing-
failed.
They
They
were
have
actually
not got
developing a
that,
pill.
That's
Right.
a pill.
It was a
Right.
pill that would
So,
mimic taking alcohol.
right.
Exactly. Without giving you the
That's what Diana-
inebriating effects, but apparently it failed. So
It did
Oh.
fail. It failed
Yeah.
its clinical trials
Yes.
and never came
Yeah.
out.
We
Yeah.
want you to figure out, Diana, what you don't.
what works best for you?
Yeah. And what medicine, though, you have got to let a doctor test you.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. And I know we had time. I'm trying to get people to understand on our group and out there that they can come in and join us. So if you have any friends or anything, when we do these, questions or anything, we're not doctors. I keep saying that. You guys
We're
know
not.
us. We're not doctors.
We've
No.
done our research though.
I do a
Right.
hell of a lot of reading.
And we're
Yeah.
talking to the people who know the answers. And Mary, again, you go ahead, and if you want to get anybody together in a private Zoom, we can do that. So you figured it out.
Yeah.
You got to join us. So,
Well, for years, I've been, when I was doing the groups back in 2005 and stuff, and doing the EMS and training and that type of thing, it was amazing. But in the last few years, I haven't felt good, and then all this COVID stuff anyway, but.
But now you got gas prices.
But I've been carrying around the information, and if somebody in the store looks at me funny or says, "What's the matter with you?" or tries to be rude, I just
Right.
hand it to them. I've even had restaurant owners saying something off the wall that they shouldn't have. You know what I mean?
yes.
I
Oh,
just
geez.
and I take them and not get angry or anything, not at least not show it, and then and then say, well, you may need to
Educate
like
yourself.
you might like to read this literature.
Right.
And they don't, their face drops to the floor like they, you know, oh, well, I guess I did something wrong, you know, and they say it in front of their customers. So it's like, you can tell the customers and find that too funny.
I just tell Diann to start a seminar.
Did
If we're in a
that.
restaurant, yeah,
have
let's
been
do a
there.
seminar. Stand up in front of the people and show them what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we did, yes. That's what we did. We did the EMS, we've done the sheriff department, we went to the grandparents,
Yeah,
you know, aging and all of that, not necessarily for the aging, but wherever we can do, you know, health fairs, I've given out information, health fairs and that type of.
Bless your heart, Mary.
Well,
I just
will
need to
send
get rid of
you-
what this, whatever this is in my ear and that, get that straightened out. But I am going to a chiropractor next Wednesday. So I don't know if anybody's ever had any issues with essential tremor and then hearing and nasal issues, or if that's part of it, or if it's something that you do?
well,
Yeah, I've
maybe
had
a whole new study we need to start.
Yeah, maybe. I've had
No.
2 sinus surgeries in the last 2 years. So,
Because mine came on all of a sudden, and then when it decided, it has more to do with the barometric pressures,
yep.
humidities, and all of it, and I have like 20% less hearing in that one ear,
Yeah.
but there's nothing in, it's just like air pockets or something that all of a sudden it just, and then my equilibrium goes off,
Hey,
and I have this burning sensation in my eutychian tube. So I'm hoping, I've read some information that a chiropractor can actually help pop your eutychian tube open. So if that
Have you
works,
been to an ENT?
4 of them last
Oh
summer.
God.
Oh.
Okay.
So he's like my only last hope as far as I'm concerned. After that, I don't know where to go, you know, on that. But
Well, hopefully he does. I know that my chiropractor works with lasers on my sinuses and that stuff. And I've got screwed up station tubes. They're flat. So I can appreciate.
yeah, I've done some research on, you know, minimum research on it, and it looks like a chiropractor can also help with possibly your tremor to reduce that. So I was like, I'm all in for this. I have to try.
Right.
Well,
Right.
why don't you, because, you know, you're having the problems. If you recruit a group, then you know, we can do something. We can talk, we can whatever. And if you need more information, let me know.
Okay.
And do you have the little cards, the information?
Yes.
Okay.
I have it in I have those smaller ones in my wallet just to pass out, because I've
Well,
been,
you need,
Awesome.
for 2 years, I did not have a walker, and I have to have a walker because I never know when these things are gonna come on, and they're not whatever you wanna call them, epilepsy things, they're not that at all. But it was me staying at home, looking out of a window and not going out grocery shopping, so now I at least took the walker, so if I have it and I have my equilibrium go off,
yeah.
then I can have the ability to sit down and let it pass and keep moving, you know, but I've got all of your stuff that I've
Okay.
gotten from you, and I've got it all packaged up, different things, and I'm dropping them off to the church and this and that, so.
That's awesome. Well, you know, the thing is too, Diann and I talked about it, Mary, that, you know, rather than try to do locational support groups, we can make this platform our support group, because then we can get people from anywhere.
Right.
And we've got people that are not near any larger cities. It'd be very difficult for them to have a support group. You know,
Yes.
they'd have to travel quite a bit.
Yeah.
So people have gotten a lot more used to Zoom since the pandemic, because so
Right.
many people used it, that it's not quite a scary thing as anymore as
Right.
it used to be when it first came out, you
Right.
know? And it's a great platform. Like I said, no matter what physical limitations you have,
Right.
you're able to participate.
Or if
You know?
if you know of anybody, family members or friends, want to join any one of these things to learn about essential tremor.
Caregivers.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
or, if you have a friend who's starting to tremor and wants to discuss it, this is what this is about. Now we are going to grow, and talk to doctors. We do have a doctor we can have on board. If we want to get, grow with this. So you guys, I need ideas. Okay. I need ideas. I need support, anything you can come up with.
Talk these up.
You're not a
Okay.
big corporation with a whole
No.
bunch of staff. You're looking
No.
at part of the staff right now. This is us, and we set and do ideas. We do have Steve Foster, who couldn't be on because he's on a cruise.
Aw.
27-day cruise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, oh, well,
God bless him.
he's relaxing. So guys, any ideas,
Thank you.
any question, Cher and I are available. You can message us, and you know that, Steve, and Mary knows it.
Well,
I
Randy
need to
too.
get back to your message, and it has just been so much going on. So,
Right.
I do try and answer any messages or emails. And
I do have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Did anybody ever be able to reach Wegmans?
What?
Was anybody able to reach Wegmans? The
No.
grocery store? Okay.
No, we couldn't get a hold of them.
Okay, because I see that they don't want any of that type of information unless you email them or
Unless they're
something. You probably
corporate.
did the research of how to contact them.
Yeah, they were just difficult to get a hold of.
Okay, yeah, because otherwise they're very charitable people.
Oh, yes, they are. They're a great,
Oh.
great grocer.
Yeah, I found it difficult, so it's like, and I was
I
kind
have
of,
the same problem with Publix.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Publix will give us $50 and tell us to move on, but
Okay, again, everybody, listen to me. The problem is they don't know what essential tremor is.
right. That's the
And
big
unless
problem.
you can really get in there and talk to them.
Now, Kroger has been fabulous.
Kroger is one of our top companies. So yes, the biggest problem is we contact companies after companies after companies, and they look up essential tremor, nope. So it's gonna be, I still say this year, we are making a difference. Companies are coming to me.
Slowly but surely. It's
Yeah,
kind of like the little
it's-
engine that could.
I know. So
And they're
We
telling us we're
hopefully-
making a difference.
we will.
They tell us that when they call,
Yep.
and they want to
Yeah.
be on our train.
I've been told that because of my technically big mouth, essential tremor is getting out there. So I'm going to keep it up. And again, if you have ideas, again, it can be a simple one. Anything, throw it
No
out.
idea is a bad idea.
That's it. So guys, thank you for talking with us. And I appreciate it. And we're learning these Zoom meetings.
Bye, everybody.
Yes.
Bye.
Good luck. Good luck,
Thank you
Diana.
very
I
much.
think you'll be
Thank you.
happy. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. I don't get out.